All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're jumping into some of the most powerful and, let's be honest, kind of tricky words in the English language, modal verbs. We're going to ditch the boring grammar rules and create a clear, simple roadmap you can actually use. So let's dive right in with a question. Should you watch this or must you watch this? See what I did there? Just changing one little word from should to must completely flips the feeling of that question, right? One's a friendly suggestion, the other feels way more like an urgent command. And that is the incredible power of modal verbs. I like to think of them as the volume controls for English. They let you dial up or down things like politeness, certainty, and force. And trust me, by the time we're done here, you're going to know exactly which one to grab and when to use it. Okay, so first up, let's talk about possibility. We're going to map this out on a kind of spectrum. Think of it as starting with a really weak guess on one end and moving all the way over to a solid guarantee on the other. So, starting on the not-so-sure end of our spectrum, we have might. Yeah, might is your go-to when you're just making a small guess. You don't have a lot of confidence, but you're throwing the idea out there. It's a pretty weak possibility. And look at this example. The real key is that first part. It's not very cloudy yet. That little phrase tells you everything you need to know, right? The evidence just isn't there, which is exactly why might is the perfect word here. Now, what about may versus might? This is where it gets a little subtle, you know? They're super similar, but may just nudges the probability up a little bit. It suggests a slightly better chance. So if I say Richard may be coming, I'm feeling a little more optimistic than if I say he might be coming. It's a small difference, but it's there. Okay, let's talk about can and could. A lot of people just think of could as the past tense of can, but it is so much more than that. I mean, look at this. Sure, can is about what you can do right now. And could can be about the past, but where could really shines is in its other job, making requests super polite and gentle. It just softens everything up. All right, let's shift gears a bit. We've talked about what's possible. Now we're moving on to what's required. We're going to climb what I call the obligation ladder, starting at the bottom with some gentle advice and going all the way up to some serious, unbreakable orders. So yeah, this ladder is the perfect way to visualize it. Down at the bottom rung, things are really just a good idea, a recommendation. But with each step you take up that ladder, that sense of duty gets stronger and stronger until you hit the top, and it's an absolute ironclad rule. So starting at the bottom of our ladder, we've got should and ought to. Honestly, you can think of them as twins. They're practically interchangeable. These aren't about rules at all. This is all about giving good, solid advice. You know, telling someone what you think is the best thing to do. This is a perfect example. You should drink more water. I mean, is anyone forcing you? Is it a law? Of course not. It's just a simple recommendation that's for your own good. Pure advice, zero command. Okay, let's climb up to the next step. Here we find have to. And you can feel it, right? Things are getting a bit more serious. Have to is all about an obligation that comes from an outside source. It's not your choice. It's your schedule, a rule, your boss, something external is making you do it. So when someone says, I have to get up early tomorrow, it's not because they want to. The real reason is something external. Maybe it's a flight they have to catch or a big meeting at work. It's some outside force that's setting the agenda, not their own personal preference. And here we go. We've reached the very top of the ladder. This is must. And must is for the real heavy hitters. We're talking non-negotiable rules, laws, and those personal convictions that you feel so strongly about, they might as well be rules. Think about it. You must wear a helmet. This is a safety rule. In a lot of places, it's actually the law. There's just no wiggle room here, no room for debate. It's an absolute requirement. And that's the unmistakable power of must. And we've got to talk about its powerful negative partner, must not or mustn't. This is super important. Must not isn't just a suggestion to avoid something. Oh no, it is a direct, forceful, do not do this. It's a total prohibition. It's basically a giant flashing red stop sign in word form. Okay, great. So we've covered possibility and we've climbed the obligation ladder. Now let's look at how these verbs help us actually interact with people, making offers, asking for things, and making promises about the future. Let's put will and would side by side because they have such different vibes, don't they? Will is all about being direct and certain. It's a promise. I will help you. It's confident. But would is your go-to for being polite and gentle. It turns a statement into a soft invitation, like, would you like a cup of tea? It's just nicer. Now, let's talk about shall. This one can feel a bit formal, but it's really useful. You'll almost always see it in a question and specifically with I or we. It's a really classy, polite way to make an offer or a suggestion, basically asking, hey, do you want me to do this? Or how about we do this together? So when you say, shall we order pizza tonight? You're not telling someone what to do, not at all. It's a friendly, team-oriented kind of suggestion. You're inviting their opinion, looking for agreement. It's just a fantastic way to make plans with someone. Whew, okay. We have covered a ton of ground here. So to make sure this all sticks, let's pull it all together. Think of this next slide as your personal go-to toolkit for modal verbs. Now, what's really cool about seeing it all laid out like this is you notice how some words are total multitaskers. I mean, look at could. It's popping up under possibility, offers, and polite requests. It just goes to show you that context is absolutely everything when you're picking the right word. So really, if you take away one thing today, let it be this. Mastering modal verbs isn't about memorizing a bunch of dry grammar rules. It's about developing a feel for them. It's about understanding the situation, the nuance, and the specific vibe you want to create. That's when you really start speaking with confidence. So now you really know the difference. The tools are all yours. The next time you speak, what will you say? It's a choice now, not just a guess. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer.